Hello, welcome to Simple Life Philosophy. I'm your host, Ed Raby. This is the channel where you can follow along with me as I search for a simple life philosophy that is both simple to understand and execute and leads to a simpler life. I want to remind everybody to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, comment below, do whatever you need to do. I want to do that up front and at the end from now on because sometimes people forget. The likes are what really help the channel grow. That's what the algorithm really looks for is you liking the videos. So if you like it, hit that like button. Today I'm kind of in a very reflective mood. I've been reflecting on this like all day long, and with a few interruptions. But one of the things that happened when I left Texas, I came back here in early January, and the whole issue for me was to get back home, to get back to my hometown, to get back near some of my family, so that I wouldn't feel like I was left out, or I just didn't feel any connection in Houston. And my best friend lives down there. If you watch this, Jeff, I'm not really speaking about you and I. We are always connected. I was trying to form connections down there, and it just didn't really work. So I came back here where I already have some existing connections, and I was glad I didn't burn my bridges on this one, other than the bridge of my marriage. But I would have had other reasons to do that even if I had stayed. So today I've been reflecting on feelings because one of the things me and my therapist talked about Wednesday was finding ways for me to express my feelings. My autism kind of manifests itself in masking, where I mask my emotions really, 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 really well. And so I'm really trying to figure out ways to express those emotions. And I'm thinking about how I was feeling over the last couple of days, and the one thing that keeps coming back is don't feel like I'm completely at home with myself or where I'm at. And the more I reflect on it, the more I think about it, the more I realize that my simple life philosophy that I'm trying to pursue is probably actually going to lead to a much simpler life than even I live now. And it's not a scary thought. I was reflecting on my parents. When I was younger, I used to watch my mom and dad garden. My dad was a hunter. I know a lot of people don't like hunters and they don't like trappers because he was a trapper too. He was a fisherman. He liked being outdoors. The one thing I could say for him, though, is I don't think I ever saw my dad hunt or fish or trap more than what he needed to do. Like he literally, when he trapped, he made stuff out of the furs, okay, that he would wear, okay. He wasn't into, he'd sell some of the pelts, but he was not into taking more than the land could provide, okay. When he hunted, he would sometimes deer hunt, he would get his buck or whatever, and he'd still go hunting, but he'd never come home. I mean, and I would ask him, well, did you see any more deer? And he'd say, yes. And I'd be like, well, what's up? And he says, well, I just didn't feel like shooting them. He says there was a doe there, and she had two fawns, and I was just not going to do it. He was very conscious about conservation. I think he was more of a conservation than an environmentalist. And I'm not really a tree hugger either, but I have really been thinking about my lack of connection to the world. And part of that is my inability to get outside the four walls of my apartment from time to time. And a lot of that is I've got myself on a real set routine, and I really need to think about ways to get out, and I've been thinking about this. And so a couple days ago, I actually ordered a garden kit, and I've also been watching the videos of a young woman called The Naked Gardener. I'll link her latest video up above my head because I was watching this video today when I got home from work. And it kind of went along with what I was thinking. So this is more of a vlog post. And she, as you can imagine, she is a gardener who gardens partially naked at least, for the camera, but probably mostly when she's not off camera. But she talks about in that video about her connection spiritually to the earth. Now, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in any of that crap. I don't see any, evidence for that part. But the spirit of what she was trying to say really resonated with me, because I'm like, what I want? I want a cabin in the woods. I want an attached greenhouse and a small little garden plot. And I just want to feel at home. I think there's something in my own heart that's calling me back to a simpler life with a simple way of living. Now, I love the internet. I love a lot of modern convenience. I think electricity is a wonderful thing. But I also realize that if human beings don't figure out how to stop consuming mass quantities of shit, we are going to run out of stuff. Okay? And a lot of millennials out there and other generations are screaming, yeah, see, we've been telling you. Yeah, okay, well, here's one for you guys. Put down your cell phones. Put them away for a while, because they burn a lot of electricity. And that's just true. Bill Meyer was talking about that the other day. He says, it's funny you mentioned to millennials that they're burning a lot of electricity with their smartphones, and they make all kinds of excuses at that point. And it's what I've said for a long time. All generations have their hypocrisy. Okay. Generation X claims to be very independent, and I am Generation X, but we were the most compliant during the COVID thing and the lockdowns and stuff. We were like, yeah, okay, whatever. And that's kind of, it's like a hypocrisy. We value independence, but, when people tell us not to be independent, we kind of just go with it because we don't want to rock the boat. And maybe that's a problem. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't buy the generational bullshit anyway. So, but for me personally, I think now I only need 3 things to be considered truly at home, and I don't know how to get them. And I'm going to try to find a way to get them. I need a plot of my own land that I can call home and make an attempt at finding the simplicity that is in, not completely, I'll still have a job, but just the simplicity of doing something with the earth. I long stopped hunting because hunting was a thing me and my father did, and I don't think I could ever, I have a couple of firearms for personal protection, but that's about it. But I don't hardly ever use them. I'm a big dude, and most people leave me alone. So, and I don't know if I could ever kill an animal again. I'm one of those people that understands one very inconvenient truth for all of us that are alive. In order for us to continue to live, we have to consume something that was once alive that we killed. And a lot of vegans jump all over that and say, yeah, but you kill plants. And plants are related to us too. Just because you don't possess the empathy to see them as empathically as animals doesn't change the fact that you haven't killed something to stay alive. And every time something dies, there's trauma experienced. And it doesn't matter what type of animal it is. Very few animals don't experience some sort of trauma when they die. I imagine if we start talking bacteria and stuff, maybe, but I don't know. My point is this. It's an inconvenient truth, but it's simply true. In order to live, something has to die. But I would rather have that be closer to the earth, something I built myself and nurtured myself. And there's a lot of things I can't do in gardening because my allergies kick the living crap out of me when it's like flowers and stuff. But I suddenly realized there are a few things that I'm not allergic to, which is when I work my job, I work in produce and meat. And when I'm in the produce section, my nose isn't going off. So anything that like produces a fruit or something that's good to eat doesn't bother me. It's the plain flowers that don't really produce anything that really bother me. And so the more I thought about it, I said, I'm just going to get a gardening kit that I can keep here in the apartment and see how it feels. And I'm literally looking at something from a feeling standpoint. This all goes back to the original discussion of expressing my emotions. And I got to find ways to do that. Where do I feel the most comfortable? And I mentioned one, I need a place of my own where I can do that to feel at home. I think the other thing I need is to truly and genuinely simplify my life again. I look around and I still see things that I could live without. Breaking it down, making it more simple, getting rid of some of the stuff in here. I tend to buy things for comfort that I think are really cool. I need to stop doing that. I think, and this is where the autism thing has really opened up my understanding. See, I really wanted to do this back when I first came home. And the reason I rushed into this apartment and rushed into the job that I had is there were a lot of things that were said when I moved back that were actually kind of hurtful to me. And, I've forgiven all this. I don't hold grudges. Life's too short. But it still hurt. And I didn't express my hurt about it too much, which is typical me. And I probably should have. Those things were very hurtful. And I don't mean to cause anxiety with what I do, but when you're facing some real problems, you have to do something, okay? And I need a place that I can call my own, where I can find some peace of mind and protect my autistic side from the stresses of the world. And I think getting closer to nature may be that key. Even if I have to take allergy pills for all the plant allergies that I have and the animal allergies I have, maybe I need to do that because of the feeling that my nervous system will get from that. And I think the last thing I need is another lover. I need a woman in my life that will truly, genuinely love me as much as I love them. And I've recently have decided to swear off dating sites pretty much. I'm done with them. Most of the women on those dating sites have demands that are ridiculous, that Superman himself, or what people consider Jesus Christ, couldn't fulfill. And they have this very delusional view of their own value. Like everybody's a queen these days. Every woman's a queen. And I'm like, no, you're just a woman and I'm just a man. And I want somebody that's grounded in reality, and maybe somebody who is into gardening and being with nature and being like the naked gardener is more my speed, okay? Because they're grounded in reality instead of wanting all this stuff. And I think that's something worth pursuing. I miss the touch. I miss the cuddling. I miss all that stuff. But at the same time, I'm not going to compromise my own needs as a man and as a person of having my emotional needs met and having my ideas respected and having my thoughts, responded to in a timely manner. I'm not into all the rest of it. So that's I just want to say that I'm feeling not at home. Okay, and I'm doing these vlogs to kind of look back, hopefully, in a year or two and go, oh, I was really struggling with that, but I don't struggle with that today. I'm hoping that's what happens. And I hope I didn't bore you, but I'm trying, and maybe some of the rest of you are feeling the same way. I think modern life kind of just screws us. It bends us over and uses us, and we want to be in a place where we're not being used anymore. We're in cooperation with the land, we're in cooperation with each other. Voluntarily, I don't believe that government should force this crap. I think that's one of the most evil things that can be done. But there's got to be a place where we can get away and be at peace with ourselves, be at home, and be with people we love. And I just want a microcosm of that, That's all I want. And the more I study the Stoics, the more I study the minimalists, the more I study and look at essentialism, the more I look at the pagan philosophies of life, I think they were closer to the truth. And maybe what we call progress isn't really progress. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't really have any good solutions. I'm going to look into some things. Like I said, I'm getting a little gardening kit. I want to feel what that's like. And I want to look at some other things. But at the same time, I just wanted to share a little bit of what's going on inside my heart and not my head. Okay, I think you guys get my rationality all the time, and I do believe that rationality is the key to a better society, but nobody wants to be rational, and politicians certainly don't want to be rational, and religious people aren't rational, so it's kind of hard in a world of irrationality to build a better society through being rational, but here we are. Thank you for stopping by, and if you've listened this far in the video, thank you for listening all the way through. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you comment below, hit that notification bell so you get the new content every day. I've got some channel changes coming up, so stay tuned for those. I originally was trying to do morning meditations, but it became a little bit cumbersome, so I'm kind of looking into whether shorts can fulfill that role for this channel. I also am trying once again to integrate my reading into this channel, and so maybe there might be a noonday video where I finish a chapter. I'm changing the way I study, so I study a chapter of a book, get my thoughts on it, do a video on it, and then move along. So it might, hopefully that'll be just like a 2-day process, but those are some of the changes I'm thinking of doing to the channel, so we'll see what happens. But once again, thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, Ed Raby. This has been Simple Life Philosophy, and I hope you have a simple and good day.